CQ, CQ, CQ. Calling CQ the Old Friends Net. This is WA4LLR. Dave in Burnsville, North Carolina, calling CQ the Old Friends Net. This net meets 3 times weekly, Sunday evenings at 6:30 p.m., Tuesday mornings at 9 a.m., and Thursday mornings at 9 a.m. on this frequency. The Old Friends Net is conducted in the Amplitude Modulation mode and carried out in the round table format. This net's an excellent place to get information, particularly on vintage type equipment, exchange parts, look for parts, exchange rigs, and who knows what else. So it's just a good time to be had by all. So CQ the Old Friends Net. Stations wishing to participate in this evening's activities, give me a call and come down.
N4LQ.
N4 WA4FJQ. WB4LRK.
WF2U.
WB4NKL.
KG4IUQ.
November 4 Alpha Kilo N4 AK.
W4MEC.
AWD.
Okay, let me tell you what I have. Somebody doubled with Lee, and Lee won. So here's what we have so far. N4LQ, N4WD, WA4FJQ, KN4R, WB4ARK, WF2U, WB4NKL, KG4IUQ, N4AK, W4MEC, K4VWD. Who did I miss?
KZ4 Bravo.
Okay, we got John, KZ4B. Who else?
W4VRO.
Alrighty, we've got KZ4B, W4VRO, and N4YN. Do we have any other?
YEV.
Alright, we've got KJ4YEV. Any more? Okay, let me run down the list one more time. N4LQ, N4WD, WA4FJQ, KN4R, WB4ARK, WF2U, WB4NKL, KG4IUQ, N4AK, W4MEC, K4VWD, KZ4B, W4VRO, N4YN, KJ4YEV. Did I miss anyone? I thought I heard a station real weak. Did anybody else copy one?
It was very weak here.
Okay, maybe the band will improve and we can pick them up next time. Alrighty, we'll go ahead and get started with this list. Nice group this Sunday evening. We have clear skies, a little breeze, and about 50, looks like about 57 degrees up here in Burnsville. Been some beautiful weather, kind of windy, but sure has been pretty. Color is excellent where we are. So we'll go ahead and get started and head right down to the city of Pleasant Living. N4LQ, WA4LLR.
WA4LLR, it's N4LQ in Shelby. Name is Steve, running an AF-68 by Elmac to a AL-1200 amplifier and a horizontal loop antenna fed with tuned feeders, parallel, resonant, antenna tuner, and all that garbage. Well, let's see. I've been chopping trees today that fell on the fence and crushed it. Got it out of the way. Kind of patched up the fence. Washed off the driveway. Yesterday went to the famous Gaffney Hamfest where there were like 4 cars and a trailer and a couple of visitors. And actually sold some stuff. We sold stuff to each other, really. Saw Richard there. That's about the only folks from around from the old Friends Net that I knew, and a few locals, and skipped going to the Livermust Festival. So got a lot of check-ins today. I will not hog it. Over to Bruce, N4WD, N4LQ.
N4LQ, Steve, N4WD. 72 degrees here. Clear skies, light breeze. So, that's about here, won't keep it. So we got a long list, as Steve said. FJQ, N4WD.
Go ahead, Tom.
N4WD, this is WA4FJQ. Sorry, Bruce, I can't copy you at all. You just drifted right down into the noise, so I didn't know when my turn was coming up. Thanks, Dave, for giving me a prompt. Yeah, name here is Tom in High Point. The rig is AF-68. Feeding the signal over to a Collins 30L1 and receiving on a Collins 75 S3C. Beautiful day here, just like Steve was talking about. A little windy and whatever. It's supposed to be even nicer tomorrow. So at any rate, nothing else really to comment on at this point. And we'll turn it over to KN4R Brian. This is WA4FJQ.
Honeydews, and sending my wife pictures so I get some brownie points. And Steve, I apologize, I did not make it to the Livermust Festival either. We went to the Lincolnton Apple Festival instead, and that was very well attended. And I'm using the same GRC9 here through a little amplifier, but I'm using a new old stock P17 mic instead of the Chinese military mic. So might comment if it sounds decent at all. So over to you, buddies. WB4ARK in the group. KN4R.
4ARK. Okay, Brian. Sounds like you're a little bit off frequency. Conditions here, weather-wise, are very nice. Not a cloud in the sky all day, and here 71. Maybe I think I saw the thermometer at one point. With that, we'll turn it over to Peter. WF2U, WB4. So I'm running the KWS1 on lower side band. WF2U, WB4ARK.
And the net, this is WF2U. Great, good signals all around. And Des Moines noise level is sort of normal, maybe a little bit higher than average ambient noise, but signals are outstanding today. Here are some reports. Dave, you are 20 over 9. This S meter here is a little bit stingy, so I would say it's pretty good. Steve also 20 over 9. Bruce was a little bit weaker, 5'8". Tom about 15 over 9. And Brian 5 to 10 over 9, some QSB, and yeah, a little bit off frequency, but no problem. And Buddy, you were 20 over 9. I'm using the usual Yaesu Twins with a hybrid transmitter, and it's early 1980s vintage with the FL2100B linear amplifier that puts out about 325 or so peak watts, and the antenna is a half-wave 80-meter antenna, so it might not be the optimum direction for some stations here, but anyway, it's working okay. About 45, almost 50 feet end to end. And so I'll give the reports for the rest of the group here when my turn comes next time. So here, I guess it goes to WB4 NKL. Go ahead, Cliff. This is WF2U.
WF2U. It's WB4 NKL. Okay, everybody's sounding pretty good. Bruce was a little light here today, and Brian, I tuned you in real good at 110, down about 5 kcs. 60 degrees here, and supposed to get down into the 30s tonight. Got a frost advisory. I went over to the mountains of North Carolina yesterday and across the hill and to Bakersville. They were having a little festival, and Brandon W4GUZ had set up his boiler and steam engine and whistle, and went over and watched him shell some corn. And they had a hit and miss engine set up also. It was grinding the corn and making cornmeal. So we took that in and checked the leaves out. It was a beautiful day, except a little windy. The wind kept on blowing the belt off of his steam engine. Let's see, I guess that's about it for this go around. Say hello to Don. Hadn't heard you in a while, Don. Good to hear you. Go ahead, Mark. KG4IUQ WB4NKL.
Thank you very much, Cliff. This is Mark in Shelby. I've been off in the mountains of North Carolina, the Blue Ridge Parkway on Friday and Saturday. I stayed at the Big Lynn Lodge near Little Switzerland, where it was very windy and cold. Took some pictures of the fall colors, and I saw a very beautiful rainbow, most magnificent rainbow I've ever seen in my life, and I actually got a few pictures of it. Everybody's sounding good. Dave, LLR, you're 5'9". Steve, you're sounding very good. Bruce, I did not copy at all. Tom, FJQ, you're 5'9". You're 5'9". Brian, you're 5'9". Buddy, you're sounding very good. Mayer, you're sounding very clear and strong. Very good here. And Cliff, you're sounding good too. I'm going to turn it over to Glenn in Sunset. N4AK, go ahead.
Let's see here, KG4IUQ in the Old Friends Net, November 4 Alpha Kilo. We're at 68 degrees over here in Sunset. Been a beautiful sunny day today. I'm on a Johnson 500 D104 NC183 Delta and an end-fed antenna that's resonant right here on this frequency, so not having to put any antenna tuners between here and there. All are pretty good signals. Bruce, you are a little light on me here, but otherwise copying everybody. And Ray, you got a signal pipeline as usual. I wonder what you found at the flea market on Wednesday. So, turning it over to Charlie, W4MEC, N4AK.
W4AK and the group, W4MEC. Well, most signals are sounding good here. Bruce is pretty weak today. So is Al, KJ4YEV, very weak today, which is quite unusual considering last week where you're booming in. Let's see, and it's about 58 degrees here. A beautiful day, clear all day today. I finally started to make some movement on my tree in the pond project, and I went down and cleared out the stream. I got my pickup down there. Water line suction pickup for the fill of the pond was kind of inundated, a lot of washouts and rocks, and I did a lot of shoveling for about 2 hours and get the stream straightened out so the water would run into my little pickup area and go around it and not keep washing out the sides of the bank. It's been doing a good job eroding that, so I think I've got it squared away. And you know, North Carolina used to be known for gold production. I've dug a lot of rocks out of that darn stream, and I've never found any gold, so I'm hoping one day I'll find a big old nugget or something, but so far, after 31 years, no luck. So apparently there's no gold in Perry Creek here, so but as long as I got to keep my pickup area cleaned out and the banks taken care of and the rocks on where they need to be until the next big storm, which washes them all around again, maybe I'll get lucky here one of these days. Let's see, Lee, K4VWD in the group, W4MEC.
Okay, Charlie, W4MEC, K4VWD. Well, I hope you find a big nugget one of these days. Well, it's 66 degrees here in Greenville, South Carolina. Running the multi-Elmac AF-68, about 40 watts, through a Tentec tuner and ladder line to a dipole that's about 139 feet long. So, don't forget we got a lunch on November the 2nd, and I hope everybody can make it. So, John, here she comes. KZ4B. This is K4VWD.
Okay, Lee, K4VWD in the group, KZ4 Bravo. Fine business. Conditions, signals are quite good today. I'm copying most people. I've got a fairly high noise level, but the signals are overriding it, and in particular, Mir, you're booming in here today. Sometimes you just boom in, and sometimes I have a hard time copying you. But today you're walking the dog. Sounds good. And Brian, you were definitely low in frequency. You were about 3725. 37150. Thereabouts. And but great signal, just absolutely booming in. And so the band, usually if you boom in, a lot of the more distant stations don't, but the band seems to be both long and short
but there is a fair amount of QS Baker, although not enough really to cause much trouble. Shifting gears, I did not know anything about the Gaffney Hamfest, and especially I didn't know anything about the Liver Mush Festival. I am addicted to liver mush. I love the stuff when it's properly done, and my wife refuses to cook it, so I have to go out to eat liver mush. And I would have gone to the Gaffney Hamfest to get the liver mush, even though it's, I guess, at a different place. But anyway, I kind of stay half in the dark anyway, and nothing different. It's been that way all my life, so not to get excited. And oh, on the gold, occasionally I get gold flecks in my well water, the silt that I have to use filters here to get silt out of my well water because my pump is below the aquifer. And I've got jugs and jugs of silt, and I pan it from time to time, but relax, there's not enough gold to do me hardly any good, but it's there in small quantities. When I was a kid, I lived in Steel Creek, which is a gold-bearing area. There were several mines, in fact, in the neighborhood across the street. And back in there was a creek that was about a half a mile behind my house. And when I was a little kid, I can remember seeing the sand in the creek where there were streaks of black, which is iron, and streaks of gold. And at the time, I wasn't old enough to react to that, but it was there. And there was a big mine in the area, so this could be left over from the tailings. But when I got old enough to go after it, my folks moved, and I no longer had access to that creek without getting shot at. So that is the story of the day. So, Ray, take it away. W4VRO in the group, KZ4B, over.
KZ4B and the net, W4VRO. Thank you, John. John, your signal is very strong, S9 plus. You're sounding good. Glenn, let me answer your question before I forget it. When the rotation came around to you and Mark turned it over to you and you keyed your transmitter, I said, before you could tell us what you were using, I said, Glenn has the Johnson 500 on again. About time. Glenn, you're very strong and sounding great. I hope mine sounds half as good as yours does. You're well over S9 here. Dave, you know, the last several nets, your signal's been a little weak, but you're strong this evening, and I'm glad to hear you stronger and appreciate you calling the net, Dave. Thank you. Really good to hear you. The conditions are good. I'm copying everyone who has checked into the net. Q5, no problem. Quite a bit of variation in signal strength, as would be expected. The name here for 2 or 3 I may not have talked to is Ray, Romeo Alpha Yankee. Location is 50 miles south of Atlanta. And the rig is a Johnson 500. It's loaded to 350 watts carrier and feeding an inverted V antenna. So over to N4YN. This is W4VRO.
Good. Yep. Cliff said it was low. Right in here. Yes, I've had to get on frequency. to it. I've got a spot switch on the transmitter, but everybody has a different tone here, so I don't know which one to pick. And hadn't been on much. I'm running Gonsic twins here, the G66 and the 77, and a 3-tube Ameritron amp. And the swerve's not all that great, but it's close. But everybody's coming in good here today. And I didn't pay any attention to who I'm supposed to turn it to, so if somebody can remember better than I do, I'm going to write it down for the next round. But not much else from this end, so let's see, turn over to Dave. He knows who's next. WA4LLR and 4YM.
Okay. It goes down to Al, KG4YEV. Go ahead, Al.
KJ4LLR in the net. Thank you, Dave. This is KJ4YEV, Al in Gastonia on the DX60. It's been a nice day down here today. It's been a nice week, really. It was would have been a great weekend to go to a festival. I've been to the Apple Festival and I've been to the Little Mush Festival. I didn't make either one of them this year, but I just hung around the house this weekend. But it sure has been nice, and it's supposed to be nice out this whole coming week, so I'm looking forward to that. I could actually use some rain, but I'll take this nice clear weather here. And I'll keep it going. A little bit of QSB, but I'm hearing everybody pretty good here, so I'll keep it going. Back to you, Dave. WA4LLR, KJ4YEV.
Fine business. Let me take a quick standby. Do we have any additional check-ins? Come now.
Good evening, Edinburgh QH, Lyle here in Tacoma.
Okay, I heard Lyle and Tacoma. Was there another station?
Whiskey Alpha 4 Foxtrot Tango Yankee.
Okay, I heard you, Wayne. WA4FTY. Good to hear you. So we got Lyle and Wayne. Anybody else? Lyle, go ahead and make one and give it over to WA4FTY. And Wayne, give it back to me. N4QH, WA4LLR.
Yeah, WA4LLR in the gang. N4QH, Lyle here in Tacoma. Very good evening to everybody. Everyone sounds good. Running here the Drake B-line today, Drake B-line tonight into a dipole, so everyone sounds good. Over to WA4FTY and 4QH, over.
WA4FTY. Wayne, go ahead.
Roger, roger. Thank you, old man. Attention. I hope you're doing well. And my wife got to have this very same thing. She's in misery and pain and agony. And she's got to go through the very same thing. She really can't even sleep, it's so bad. But I hope you're doing well. You sound wonderful. And hello, everybody. You can hear this really weak station. Well, one of these days I will get this blooming thing fixed. Well, my handicap and my abilities are so limited I can't do much. I keep trying. I ain't giving up. Dave, you sound wonderful. And everybody I can hear. I heard Steve. You got a good signal, Steve. Well, I just want to tell hello to everybody. And I'll pass it back to you, Dave.
Fine business. One more call. Any other stations? Come now. All right, I heard a carrier for a moment. Was somebody trying to check in? We We'll take that as a no. All righty. Very good. This is WA4LLR. All righty. Well, let's see here. Steve, glad you got some of the tree cleanup taken care of and okay on the small but somewhat effective Gaffney get-together. Wayne, Bruce, fine business on making the Chattanooga show and getting you a Collins. Tom, the F-68 sounds great as always. Brian, glad you made it to the Apple Festival. And I can't tell a lot of difference between the Chinese mic and the T-17. Maybe somebody else can give you a better report. Buddy, the KWS-1 sounds fine. Mir, thanks for the signal reports, and of course the ASU's doing their normal good job. Cliff, glad you got over to the Bakersville Festival and kept Brandon company. Sorry to hear that the wind was blowing the drive belt off, the hit and miss. Mark, sounds like you spent some time at the Big Glen Lodge. That's in my back door almost. I'm probably not more than 5 air miles from there, just west of there on a couple of ridges over. Sorry it was cold. Glenn, big signal out of the 500. Charlie, glad you got some stream clean out done, and you're having about the same luck I do when I get down and dig in the stream. I don't have an aquifer going by that's carrying gold that I could find. Lee, sound great, and thanks for reminding us about the luncheon on November the 2nd. John, I'm so sorry you were in the dark about the Liver Mush Festival. That was in Shelby, I believe. And I'm a liver mush fan myself. A lot of my family doesn't care for it, but I do. But my wife is good enough to cook it for me, and I appreciate that. And there's a company in Marion called Hunters. They make real good liver mush that I go down there and pick up occasionally. Let's see here. Ray, glad that you're hearing me better down there. Seems good to be able to get a little more than 25 watts power out since I can get back down into the ham shack now. I'm running the BC610 today as usual. Don, the Gonset twins sound good. And Al, the DX60 sounds great, and we're having some nice weather up here too. Lyle copying the Drake B line fine, and Wayne, you hang in there, don't give up, you'll get things going your way. We appreciate every effort you make to get in here with us. It's good to hear you. Well, let's see, just a few items. Our space weather, sunspot count's kind of low, 65. Solar flux index is fairly low at 123. It's quiet. And the K is 3, so not a lot going on. A few things on this day in history. On this day in, let's see here, 1962, JFK addressed the nation on the Cuban Missile Crisis and announced the blockade of Cuba. On this day in 2012, Lance Armstrong was stripped of his Tour de France titles because of drugs, steroids, and so on and so forth. On this day in 1797, the first parachute jump was made over Paris from a hot air balloon. On this day in 1957, our forces suffered the first casualties in Vietnam. On this day, 1934, the FBI eliminated Pretty Boy Floyd. And that's just a few items from this day in history. So, 18 of us on board today, so let's go back around again. N4LQ, WA4LLR.
Okay, WA4LLR in the group. This is N4LQ. Very good round, and I copied everybody just fine. The weakest was Wayne and Lyle, and everybody else is pretty strong. And Brian, you're sounding good. I had to tune down to 3712, but you're doing good. The Hamfest, they had free donuts. Well, that in itself was enough to entice me. I paid $5 to get in, got free donuts, 2 of those, free coffee, and they actually came around to your car and served you the donuts. They were trying to get rid of them because they had way too many. And somebody had a couple of D104s for sale that looked pretty nice, but I forgot to bring my tester. And they were good prices, but without a little amplifier I used to test them, probably would have been my luck. I would have gotten a bad one. The guy that had the trailer, it was packed. I mean, this was a big horse trailer, and mostly tubes. He had bought an estate, and he had several tables he folded out and just had tubes there and no price or nothing, so I don't know what he was doing. And I asked him, I said, you got any transmitters? He said, oh yeah, I got a 5100 back there. And I looked back in the trailer, and there it was on the floor, kind of a sorry looking B&W 5100, the A model, I guess you'd call it. I said, what do you want for it? And he said $400. And I said, no, thank you. And I did win a door prize. I think everybody won a door prize, and my door prize was a homemade jar of muscadine jelly. And I've never tried muscadine before, so I'm saving that for Thanksgiving. I'm going to give it to somebody else. So, Bruce, what was the call-ins about? Tell us about the call-ins that you managed to get there at Chattanooga. N4WD, N4LQ.
Okay, let me give you 100 watts instead of 13 watts. N4WD. It's a Collins 310B-1. It's not the -3 that has the traditional antenna coupler with it. So, but it works. 40 watts out, 75 ohms twin line, screw on. But it loaded up real good into 50 ohms for 40 watts. So seems to work pretty good. Got to replace some capacitors in it. But other than that, it was right on frequency. After about a 15-minute warm-up, it was pretty stable. I've got to look up and find out what it's constant, DESICCANT, capsule is. It sits up on top of the VFO. It looks like it's full of those pellets that keeps moisture out of the sealed can. So that's about it here. Hopefully everybody can hear me this time. We'll send it back to, let's see, it goes to FJQ, which I hope you can hear me this time. This is N4WD.
N4WD, this is WA4FJQ. Okay, Bruce, I can only copy just a little bit of your transmission here. The QSB is up and down. Most everybody else is pretty strong, but I just having a hard time copying you over here in High Point. But at any rate, Steve, talking about the seeing that B&W 5100, I'll be delivering a like new B&W 5100B with a sideband adapter down to the coast come this Saturday. George Neal, K4 GDN, who bought it from a local friend of mine here in town, Grady Stone, WA4 JYK. And we'll get that thing loaded into the expedition and haul it down to the coast, and then George will come up from wherever he is down south of Myrtle and pick it up. So, at any rate, that's about all the news that I've got. See, it goes to Brian, KN4R. This is WA4FJQ. Over.
Very good, WA4FJQ. And Sunday old friends, this is Brian, KN4R, hopefully closer on frequency now. I'm actually using a TS440S here with no antenna as my frequency standard, so I did a little adjustment there. But I'm amazed. The signals are just terrific. And Bruce, you just boomed in here that last transmission, and congratulations on the 310B, whatever it was. Sounds like a wonderful rig too. I wonder if it has the plug-in coils or if somebody has modified it so that you have band switches there. So, and terrific on all the festivals. It's definitely festival time, and the Lincolnton Apple Festival was very, very well attended, and we thought about going over to, I was here with my brother-in-law who recently moved into the area because my wife's in Mexico, and we talked about also going, we kind of petered out there, so, but, and hello to you, Wayne, you're sounding good up here, and great to hear you here on the air, and Don, same with you, you're sounding great as well, so, and I do love liver mush like John, and by the way, Gold, you got to get over toward Albemarle, Gold Hill, that's where the big mine was, even though in Charlotte, they had a lot of vertical mines. Charlotte was just covered with vertical mines there for a while. And in fact, my father, who was a native Charlottean, said one day on Mint Street, which is downtown, he said he was walking along the road and a truck was pulling a bulldozer on a trailer, and the trailer fell into the vertical shaft. And it went down far enough that they could not get it out. So they pushed it in and paved over it. So there's some interesting treasures down underneath the streets of Charlotte, North Carolina. So anyway, let's keep it moving. Really enjoying listening here. And again, I hope I'm on frequency again. So, buddy, that KWS1 sounds marvelous. WB4ARK in the group. KN4R.
KN4R, WB4ARK. Okay, Brian. Well, I'll tell you what, I think you're on frequency now. Sounds good. Had to turn my drive up here a little bit. Looks like my frequency is a little bit low. So we'll adjust that. And go from there. Well, Wayne, it was very good to hear you on the air today. I really have missed hearing you, and it was great to hear you this afternoon. And I hope we'll hear you on the air some more, especially during the week on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Used to hear you quite often. Thanks, Dave, for the report on the KWS-1. I hope it's still doing the job. And thanks for doing the net. I really appreciate that. Let's see, Bruce, I have a Collins 310B-3 with the link coupling. I use it with my 4400 as a driver, and it's modulated by a pair of 4125s. I put it on the air from time to time. So that's about it for me. I'll send it on to Mir, WF2U, WB4ARK.
WB4ARK, and the net that says WF2U. Yeah, very good. Everybody's booming in here, so I'll keep giving the reports to everybody else that I didn't. Actually, everybody's, let's see, everybody's over at least 15 over 9 to 20 with a little QSB, except Wayne, glad to hear you on. You are 5 to 10 dB over 9 with a QSB, and Ellen was also about 5 to 10. And mind you, these were the weakest stations, and Bruce went up to 5 and 9. But some some reports that I gave before of 20 over 9, now 25. So conditions are really pretty good. And I've been very busy. 2 weeks ago, I had a huge tree fallen next to my deck. I'm still cleaning it up. Hopefully the insurance company will send me a check finally. And I had an inspector out on Friday also finally and discovered some damage that I didn't even see or didn't notice. Some roof shingles, a brick on the chimney, and some various and sundry little dings here and there. So we'll see what will happen. But anyway, so that's the story. From this end, I didn't have much time at all to play with radios except to get on the air. And by the way, Steve, I obviously nobody's on 1864. I tried several nights at about 8 o'clock and gave several calls, and nobody replied except I think it was either Monday or last Sunday, or whenever, at least several days ago, that I think Boone was there for a few minutes, and so that's about it. It's 60 degrees right now as the sun went down, but the high was 73 here, and it was really a pretty day. So just in case it's the last round, which I think it is, I'll say 73 to everybody. And Brian, your Chinese GRC9 wannabe is working well. You sound pretty good, and had no problems. You are also holding at about 10 to 15 over 9 in your last transmission. So 73, and thanks, Dave, for running the net tonight. And so it's going to, let's see, Cliff, WB4 and KL. This is WF2U.
Okay, Mayor, WF2U, it's WB4NKL. Well, these Zoos are sounding good tonight. Good copy on you. I'm running back on the DX100B here again tonight. I don't know if I mentioned that before. But, and Brian, you're on frequency, or close enough for me this time. Didn't have to retune. And let's see, I guess that's about all I got here. Don't have too much going on. I'll say 73s in case it don't get back around, and go ahead and sign out. Thanks for calling it, Dave. And go ahead, Mark. KG4IUQ. It's WB4NKL.
This is KG4IUQ, Mark. I've been continuing to experiment with setting me up a DDS VFO lock to learn. Many small little problems that come up, and that's what I'm using right now, is a signal coming out of a VFO going into the crystal socket here. I learned that the right way to hook it up on the AF-68 is to go into the crystal socket, where on the side that has that would connect to the grid on an oscillator tube, and that would be the hot, or the center conductor coming out of the VFO, and it would go in there through a capacitor. That really improved it. I mean, I get a lot of grid current now, but I have other problems that I'm dealing with. Dave, LLR, I thought about you several times when I was up there near Burnsville. I thought, you know, wonder how far away he is. Steve, you're sounding very good. I liked that article you did, that, I don't know if you call it an article, but that email you sent out telling the club here about how people used to measure SWR. I really liked that. That's interesting to me. And I guess that's about all I have here. I'm going to stay on the net until it closes, though. But I'm going to turn it over now to Glenn in Sunset, N4AK. Go ahead.
Okay. KG4IUQ, Mark, N4AK here. Nice signal coming down here tonight, and all right on you running the DDS VFO and finding out to run the hot lead into the grid there. That's good. A couple of comments here. Lee, I was talking to Grant the other day, and he was going to do a presentation, I believe, to your group on artificial intelligence reading cuneiform tablets. There were only 75 people in the world that presently can read this cuneiform writing. And I understand there's many, many tablets in museums around the world that nobody's read them yet, so that should be interesting. And so you might comment on that if you got around to it. I told him I'd like to have a copy of that presentation. And Wayne, I copied you just fine. I'm assuming you were probably still on the 7300. I'm kind of listening for you to get on the air with the Valiant. That should put a pretty good steady AM signal around on. And Charlie, the Hendersonville pastors review of the Israeli-Palestine problem was the best I've ever heard. So I do appreciate you sending that to me, and I listened to the whole thing because it was very, very interesting in a review of what was going on over there in the Middle East. So I'll pass along my 7.3s on this. I guess it'll be the final round too, and I appreciate WA4LLR there being NCS for us tonight. So, W4MEC and 4AK.
Very good, Glenn. N4AK and the old friends of W4MEC. Okay, good round that time. Everybody was readable. Good signals. Boone, WA4EVK, sent me he left me a phone message. He is looking for a power transformer to run a HG10, a Heathkit HG10 VFO. And basically anything above 108 volts B+, because, I guess enough for sag, but it's got a drop-in circuit resistor and a regulator to drop the DX60 B+ down to 108. 125, 130, 150 volts, 200 volts, something like that. Transformer, we'll put that out DC. It also needs 108 volts minus. That is keyed, so and 6.3 volts AC for filaments. So he might have to come up with some way of coming up with that minus 108. Maybe put a filament transformer backwards on the thing to get 110 AC and rectify it. But if anybody's got a little power transformer to run that rig in less than 100 mils of current, I think it was 75 milliamps is what it draws key down. So Boone would appreciate that. I don't have anything here that will fit the bill. I got a giant one, but that would run a transmitter, but a little overkill for a little VFO. Let's see. And that's about it for me. I had to run outside when Wayne was talking because the
The raccoons are going after my bird feeder. I've got a hang-up hook in the yard there. We got 3 raccoons that get up in the trees and then come hanging down and get on the top of the support and swing them. They get them swinging back and forth. And as you get them swinging so far, they actually come unhooked and I hit the ground, and it was a field day of birdseed eating raccoons. So I looked out the window and they were swinging back and forth. So I said, man, I gotta go take care of them. So, but anyway, they didn't get them today. They get them at least once a week, but that's okay. And I guess, like everyone said, it's the last round here. So 7-3 all. We'll look for you on Tuesday morning, and you'll have a good rest of the evening in the next couple days. And it goes to we, K4VWD, and the group, W4MEC.
Give it just for a moment. This is N4AK.
Yeah, go ahead, Glenn.
Charlie, looking at group of stuff that I sent you, there's a awful looking little power supply in there that's perfect for that VFO. He may want to reconfigure it, but it has the right transformer and everything. So look in that group of stuff I gave you, W4MEC and 4AK.
Okay, I will do that after the nets. Dig it out. Appreciate you reminding me. I totally forgot. Thanks.
Lee in 4AK. Thank you.
Okay, Glenn, this is K4VWD. Well, Glenn, Grant has, I saw him and talked to him this morning at Sunday school, and he gave me a thing he had put together on Daniel from the Old Testament. And, but that AI stuff, there's another group that he is part of, and that other group I don't attend at the moment, and I think probably that's the one where he will present that. So that sounds very interesting. Well, thank you, Dave, for doing the net. It's been good. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. And but I'm going to say 7-3, God bless. I will listen for a little bit, but I've got some other things to do. So, John, here she comes. KZ4B in the group, K4VWD. So long.
Okay, K4VWD in the group, KZ4B. Fine business, Lee. Good copy as usual. I lucked onto a night VFO a couple of Berryville Hamfests ago, and I had one when I was a novice and a general. That's a real good VFO. Has plenty of output, and it's reasonably stable. They used good capacitors and ceramic coil forms in that thing. And you know, a lot of the night stuff comes across as a little cheap, but they did that right. It was a lot, well, there wasn't anything wrong with their T50 807 transmitter either. But anywho, just wanted to make that comment in case anybody ever sees one, because they work quite well. And of course, it doesn't have a digital readout or anything. But what I've been doing is using an antenna analyzer with a digital readout and zero beat on that. And that's how I cheat and get on frequency when I'm using an analog tube type VFO that doesn't have much resolution. And it works quite well. It's almost idiot proof, and I supply the idiot. So there. Well, Dave, thanks for calling the net. You always do a great job. Your 610 is booming in here, so you're easy to hear. And hope everybody has a great week coming up. I can smell winter coming, and I hate it. I'm a summertime guy, and I've got too many outside projects that are unfulfilled yet. So I guess it's going to push it off till next spring, or we're going to need some Indian summer days, and good luck to go along with it. So, Ray, it's coming your way. W4VRO and the group KZ4B clear. But listening.
KZ4B and the net, W4VRO. Very good, John. And very good all the way around. Copying everybody. Just an armchair copy here. It's just unreal. Conditions are excellent. Lyle, good to hear you this evening. And the Drake gear sounding good. And Wayne, I haven't heard you for months. So very good to hear you. You sounding good. Glenn, on your transmission, your first transmission, you asked me a question about the flea market and how it was. And then when it was turned over to me, 2 or 3 calls down the list, I said to you, let me answer your question, Glenn, before I forget it. And then I forgot it. The old age is a lot of fun. And the memory is just part of the fun. The flea market was great. Pickens County Flea Market, I think it's one of the best anywhere. And my daughter thoroughly enjoyed it. She teaches, but took a day off from school this past Wednesday, and we both walked around from about 8:30 a.m. until about 10:30, and we didn't see half of it. But she found a few interesting things she liked, and we just had a ball. So, Dave, thank you for calling the net. And it's just good to hear from you. 73s to you, and listen for you next time. N4YN, this is W4VRO, clear and listening.
Okay. Yeah, everybody's good here. I noticed that Steve, LQ, and Cliff, and Dave has all got my receiver on the peg. I just noticed it because, when Steve came on, the receiver just went to minus 100 dB quieting, and my ears perked up. Other than that, everybody's good. It's just location. I've hearing everybody real well, and QSB just maybe loses half a word occasionally. I'll do like everybody else. Looks like I'm on frequency because I can't trust this spot switch on the G77. Everybody's got a different tone here anyway, so I have to get the counter turned on. First 2 or 3 transmissions I'd forget. Let's see, I'll say 73s to everybody too, and I think KG4YEV is next. So 73s, everybody.
N4YN in the net. This is KJ4YEV. It's been a good net. 18 check-ins is a good number. And John, I heard you say you like liver mush. I do too. It's got to be fried crispy on the outside and with a little bit of mustard. That's how I like mine, but I'm a liver mush connoisseur. Kind of hate to miss the liver mush festival this year. Oh, and I forgot to mention I just had a birthday this week. I did turn 70. That's a milestone for me. I guess I'm one of the younger ones on the net, but like I said, that's sort of a milestone for me. So I know that it's getting close to the end of the net, so I'll say 73 and pass it along to Lyle N4QH. This is KJ4YEV. Over to you, Lyle.
Yeah, real good. This is N4QH right back. Yeah, everybody sounds good tonight. Well over us 9. Everybody is well over us 9 here. Sounds good. At any rate, we'll listen to you fellows on Tuesday morning. Well, so that's a good time. So, all those love you again, and hopefully soon I'll get some new antennas up and have a little better signal here on the net. All right, I
everybody. Sorry about the delay. It takes us old folks a little while to get moving. And it sure is great to hear everybody. Propagation's pretty good tonight. Just a little QSB. But it sure is good to hear everybody. Maybe moving in like always. Glenn, you got a good signal. Brian, all of you. Well, Glenn, I'm actually on the 7300. The other rig, it's so doggone heavy, I haven't been able to move it a whole lot. I hadn't really found a place to put it in the radio room. It's so small. The radio room is so small. But maybe you'll hear it shortly. But I'm currently on the 7300 running about 35 watts, maybe 25 or 30 watts. I hope I'm not melting anybody's antennas. I have some time to hear everybody. How you fellas said something about me or to me. Thank you very, very much. That would be you, Dave, you, Glenn, you, Brian, and some of you didn't hear well. But I really appreciate all of your comments. I keep struggling every day to get by. And now my wife, she's having serious medical problems. And I can't do nothing to help her, but I'm trying. I keep praying to the good Lord. He'll step in and give her some relief. She's supposed to go see his doctor tomorrow, a surgeon. I sure hope he can help her. She really can't even sleep. She's got so much pain. Well, fortunately, with all my problems, I hadn't had any pain. But she certainly got them. She's interfering with her sleep. Well, I'll tell you this, guys, if you copy, well, she can just be laying there quietly. And the pain will hit her like it did one night. She's going to bed about 10 or 11 o'clock. About an hour later, I went on upstairs, and the kitty cat was on the bed. All of a sudden, the pain hit her, and she involuntarily stood her arm and hit the heck out of me and knocked the cat out of the bed. But what did I do? She didn't mean to do it. The pain was just intense. She involuntarily slung her arm. But it ain't really funny because she's having some serious pain. But that was a heck of a situation. Well, propagation sure is good this time of night. I can't even believe I hear everybody so well. And you fellas actually hear me with my peanut whistle. I got a linear down here that'll put out about 1,000 watts, but I haven't got it interfaced to the 7300 yet. I'm working all over this stuff. It just takes me a while to do anything. Well, I guess that's about all I got, fellas. Thank you, every one of you, for your comments. Even though they didn't hear, but I know you were there. Thanks a lot. I guess give it back to you, Dave. W4LLR, W4FTY.
All right, Wayne. WA4FTY, the old friends, WA4LLR. Well, it sure is good to hear you, and we'll be praying that doctor's able to help your wife there some and get her to feeling better. All righty. Well, I guess we're about out of time on this go-round. So thank you, everyone, for checking in with us tonight. I'll say 7-3, God bless, and Lord willing, we'll look for you on Tuesday morning. So this is WA4LLR, Dave in Burnsville, North Carolina, closing this session of the Old Friends Net. 7-3.
Thank you, Dave. Great job today. 73, KN4R.
It's not the 3, it's the 1. And I got 2 80s and need a 20.
Bruce, I missed that. Try it again.
Somebody asked me if it had the 310 had the plug-in coils or the Oh shoot, the Dash 3 has like a tuner coupling system for it with an extra switch. And this one doesn't. It has the plug-in coils from the final. And I ended up with all of the bands except for 20, and I ended up with 2 80-meter coils over there, Steve.
Okay, copied that. Yeah, I understand. Yeah, I think the last one they made had a kind of a band switch, and you didn't have to worry about plug-in coils. Is that correct?
I think yes, I believe it was something like that. The diagram looks the same, but the coupling system from the final is different. I think it uses the plug-in coil, but it has changed the linking on it.
Yeah, I guess that was basically a high-powered VFO.
Yeah, 40-watt VFO.
Okay. Yeah, I've always admired those. I've never had one, but I don't know what I'd do with it anyway. That much power. It kind of reminds me of the signal shifter by Messenger, and that thing put out about 5 watts. I made some QSOs with the one I had.
Now this, it's got CW on it, and I had to dig in my boneyard and find me a 6SL7 so I can get the CW tones out of it. It's got terminals for that on the back. One half of the tube was dead, so we got that going. Replaced a few capacitors and need a couple more, and but other than that, it was working. We brought it up on Verac and tuned it up. It's weird. You tune the grid for the final, and no matter what band you set it on, you tune it with it in position on the 80 meters and run it up. And then you go to the band and go to the plate and dip the plate with the proper coil. So, a little weird, but I used to be a great exciter for, I think somebody said they used one for one of the other transmitters with a modulator all built in it for the VFO for it, N4WD.
Okay, very good. I'm going to switch over to 160 and go down there and listen, see if anybody wants to show up, and maybe Mary or somebody will show up. Sounds like you got something to play with, though. Have fun. We'll talk to you later. N4LQ.
4WD. Well, I hope there's somebody there that hadn't been last. Well, there wasn't no last night. Of course, y'all was all out of town. Catch you there. N4WD. N4LQ, WF to you.
I had to get my 160-meter antenna up, but I thought we were going to hang around 3715. That's probably a pretty good alternative for the
N4LQ, WF to you.
For a half an hour.
Yeah, Brian's talking. Yeah, Mir, go ahead.
I've been out here. I have to take care of the dogs. I can be out on 160 tomorrow night. Because it's either 6:30 or 8. I can't do both. So, 73, have a good night, everybody. Take care. This is WFTU Clear.
Yeah, I'm spread out too much. I got too many frequencies and too many nets, and at least it's getting darker earlier, and I don't have to worry about taking my walk and getting dark on me. So I've been taking those about 4 o'clock in the afternoon now. So I'll see you tomorrow night then. 73, Mary. And yeah, Brian, go ahead. You said something about 3715, but here lately it's been pretty crowded around here.
Anyway, okay. Well, I like your idea of hanging down in the extra class part of the band on 80 meters, but you know, it is the season for 160 meters, so I'll try to get something up there and try to join you guys. So anyway, 73's having fun out here in the garage. Reese and I are just just sitting here doing the bachelor thing. Take care, KN4R.
All right. Say hi to Reese for me. And we'll talk to you later. KN4R in 4.